What is going on, y'all? It's Akil here once again. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about food tracking and using an app to lose weight, okay? The app in question today is going to be MyFitnessPal. There are plenty of other food tracking apps that you can use, but we're going to be using MyFitnessPal. I love this app because, it's the first one that I've ever used, when I started my fitness journey all these years ago, and that's the one that we're going to be using today, okay? So let's go! Alright, you guys, so first thing you gotta do, you gotta create an account, okay? I have my settings still set on bulking right now, so that's why you see 5,000 calories on there, but create an account. The app is going to ask you what your goal is. That's going to be number one, and then it's going to ask you all your statistics, okay? Your current weight, your height, your age, your gender, your daily activity, all that stuff. It's going to take into account, and then it's going to factor how many calories that you're going to need on average every single day consistently, on a consistent basis, in order to achieve that goal, okay? And you have to hit that every single day, and then we modify from there, okay? So after you create your account, you put in your settings and everything like that, it's going to give you a number. This is what I had for my bulking phase, okay? So now you're going to go to your food. This is going to be your diary right here. Now you get to pick exactly what you eat, right? So add that into your diary from then on. So I'm going to pick my oats. I had 2 eggs, and then 2 egg whites, and then a fruit cup as well. Let's go ahead and add this first, and then we'll look for that fruit cup. Click on add food. Type in fruit cup. Now, this is never going to be 100% accurate, okay, and that is a-okay. Now, let's say I am bulking, right? Then I'm going to undercount how much I put in here. But if I am dieting, I'm going to overcount. What does that mean? So let's say I picked this fruit cup right here that I want to add to my diary. So if I think that a serving or a cup of fruit is going to be about 70 calories, maybe if I want a buffer zone, I wouldn't really do this for fruit. I might do this for a burger or something like that. Maybe I'll pick 1.1 serving of fruit, right? And then it's going to increase the calories of that fruit cup from 70 calories to about 80 or so. Now let's add that to the diary. Alright, so now it's added that fruit cup up to about 77, because I don't know exactly how much fruit I put in there, right? So if you want to be 100% accurate, you can measure everything out with a food scale. That's going to be even better for your goals there. So my first meal of the day, we had 160 calories worth of Quaker oats. We had 2 eggs, 2 egg whites, and then a fruit cup. Total calories is going to be 427. Carbs is 52. Fat is 12, and then protein is 27. Not a bad meal right there, right? So make sure you take that into account. I have this set for bulking, so it's going to show exactly how many calories I have left for the day, which is going to be 4,573. Obviously, you're not going to hit that. Perfectly fine. And then make sure you add it to your next meal. Add another meal. Add whatever you eat during the day, you plug it in. It will literally take you, 2 minutes, 1 minute tops maybe, right, to add in your meal for the day. So take the time and then plug it in. It's not that difficult, y'all. Even if you have to guesstimate, if the food does not exist in the app, let's say I wanted to go to meal 2, okay? I go to a restaurant that is not well known, it does not have nutrition facts or anything like that on the menu or on a website, perfectly fine. We just guesstimate, okay? Let's say you went to a restaurant that, it's a burger place, right? You don't know how many calories is in that burger. So it's probably going to be a cheeseburger, right? If you want to get a cheeseburger, guesstimate. So I'm going to type in cheeseburger. Guesstimation is going to be your best friend here whenever you're trying to do this shred. So when you do a cheeseburger, you want to be able to pick a cheeseburger that is similar to where you're at. So let's say I'm at a place that has a really, really greasy burger. It's really thick. Obviously, if you're dieting down, you don't want to be going to that place anyway, right? Unless you're doing a refeed day or something like that. But, so do you really think the burger that you're eating is 300 calories? Be reasonable, be realistic. Obviously, that's going to be a no, right? So I'm going to go down towards the heavier calories of a cheeseburger. Whataburger. That sounds a lot more realistic right there for a cheeseburger. 640 calories, so I'm going to pick that instead, okay? Plug that into my day right there. Boom. And now we know exactly what was in meal 2. Obviously, you're not going to just have a burger, right? But if you're dieting, you're going to be about, You're gonna have probably a burger, maybe some fries. If you want to stay strong, obviously do not have the fries entirely. Maybe have half the fries, okay, or have a fraction. But you'll notice that the burger is going to show that I had about 61 carbs, 32 fat, 30 protein, and that looks like a more realistic number, you know, to most places. You have to be, you have to trust yourself. You have to be realistic as well too, okay? And then make sure you add that total for the day. Now it shows that I have 3,933 calories left, and macronutrients are going to be a big factor, y'all. But if you want to lose weight, all you care about is going to be calories. Okay, if you want to look better while you're losing that weight, then that's when the macronutrients and the micronutrients come into play. Okay, you want to make sure you're having an adequate amount of protein. Typically, if you're working out, you're very active, you want to get at minimum your lean body mass amount of protein in grams. Okay, so fats, it should be at least minimum 20% of your daily intake, and then carbs, you know, fill that in as well too. You can always play around with these two. Okay, nobody's ever going to be the same. Some people might react really well in their diet or their lifestyle to low carbs. Some people might need more carbs, right? That's perfectly fine. But just make sure that you're filling in these two well. Okay, your fats are not too low because that's going to mess with their hormone levels. We don't want that as well. Sugar intake should not be that high. 74 grams or so is going to be pretty typical for most people if you want to achieve a certain goal. If it's coming from fruits, perfectly fine. If you're getting it from, you know, sweets and candy and everything, that's a bad thing, right? Sodium levels, make sure you're watching that too, but at the start, it's not that big of a deal. Towards an end of a shred, I'll think about that a little bit more. But typically, sodium levels, I don't think about it too much. If, let's say it's, you know, 4, 5, 6,000 milligrams, that's going to be a little bit, you know, bad right there. So definitely, you know, just take that into account if it's a little higher than that. But right now, you can already tell so far we're already at 2,027 milligrams of sodium right there, and it's only the second meal. That's because that burger was high in sodium. So that's when you got to start thinking about that. If you're eating out a lot, y'all, make sure you take that into account. Alright, but if you're prepping your food at home, which is what I highly recommend, if you're trying to eat better, feel better, do better, and then push better towards your goals, you should be cooking a lot of your meals. You should be prepping a lot of your meals, okay? Now, let's dive into the exercise. You can add your exercise to this, but I don't like to do that. I like to keep my exercise separate. Okay, it's going to basically cancel out your stuff. If you add in your exercise, it's going to say, oh, you get to eat this much more food, because it's going to tailor that into your daily intake for the day, and then it'll allow you to eat more food. I don't even like to do that. But granted, I like to have y'all eat more and do more, but I just don't even track my exercise on here. But that's pretty much it, y'all. Do that consistently for 1 to 2 to 3 weeks. And then you want to modify your stats on here. Okay, make sure you go to your settings once again, and then you want to modify your current stats. It's going to ask you what your weight is, what all these stats are again, and then you want to keep modifying that every couple weeks, and then you keep adjusting to achieve your goal. And that's exactly how you do it, y'all. You know, you modify every few weeks, and then you go from there. And make sure that you're consistent with this. Okay, it's not going to work if you're not consistent. Okay, if one day you're hitting, if your goal for the day is 1,600 calories, you hit that for 3 days, and then the next 2 days you're at 4,000. That is not going to work. Okay, you want to be consistent with this every single week, and then that's how it works. Make sure you're getting in your food intake really well, right? You're eating good quality foods, 80% good quality wholesome foods. Okay, mostly prepped if you can, and then 20% enjoy the food you want, because you want this to be a lifestyle. You want this to be sustainable, right? You want this to be consistent for a long period of time. So make sure you do this consistently. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Alright, y'all, that's all I have for you for today. That was a quick little dive into the use of MyFitnessPal. There is so much more that we can talk about caloric deficits, about your exercise, about your daily movement, about your cardio, strength training, all the above. Okay, but we'll leave that for another one. If you haven't followed me yet, hit that subscribe button down below. I'll see you on the next video. Peace!